Okay guys, the studio is in pretty rough shape. You can see we have barely any lighting in here, there's stuff all over the place. And, well, you guessed it, I'm moving for 2020. This actually is the last time I'm ever gonna film in this space. Well, maybe some B-roll, we'll still have some printers in here. But this studio has done its job. If you actually look at it, this thing is tiny. This has just been getting too small for what I've got planned. So before I show you guys where we'll be moving to, let's actually jump back to where this all started. This, if you remember, this is the first setup I've ever had. So I used to stand back there behind my workbench. Excuse the mess, there's just too much going on. I mumbled out my first ever words for YouTube right in that spot. Camera used to be here. That was frightening and exciting and wow, different times. So let me show you where I'm actually moving to. Actually, we're not even going that far. This was just about 1 kilometer away from my home, so I can walk here, I can bike here, or I can go here in the car in under 60 seconds, which is awesome. Okay, this is it. As you can hear, it is still super echoey. So let's turn on some lights here. First up, we've got an office space. This is bigger than my previous studio already. This is gonna have space for desks and, you know, a coffee corner and everything you need. This used to be something like a vet's clinic, but as we move through here, this is the actual studio space. So you can see I've already moved in some C-stands and my live streaming gear. And yeah, this is gonna be it. Yeah, I still have to make a plan for this, but for now, this is just a huge blank slate that I can make use of. I know it's hard to understand how you can get so excited about just a blank room, but this place is super cheap. This studio room is the perfect size where I can have all my camera gear right here and then have some sort of a backdrop there. I can have storage on the other side. This is perfect. The office, we'll get to that in a second. This is also pretty much the perfect size, and the best thing is, as you walk in, that's the entrance door right there. This room right here, a small side room that I'll be using just for printers. This will be the printer room. So I'll have a few desks on the side, and this will just house all the printers doing their thing. So the idea with this office is this is gonna fit 3 desks basically. So at this point I was talking about which employees or interns I would be looking for, as one of the main reasons I even got this space was so that I could properly have people other than me work on the channel and on everything that happens after and before I even hit record on the camera. But I'm not quite ready to share all the details yet, but you'll definitely hear about it when I do. So because I don't just want this thing to be a vlog and a hey look at the new thing that I just got video, I actually want to do a quick project with this one, and that is treating the acoustics in these rooms. You can hear this is just horrible. This of course would be impossible to film anything real in, but obviously that's because there's nothing in here yet. We have hard laminate flooring, brick walls and a concrete ceiling, so there's nothing that's absorbing the echo in here at all. So what I will be doing is that I'll be making some more of these acoustic panels that I can hang all over the walls. I feel like with this one panel, the echo has already gotten a lot better, but we obviously need a few more. So let's go ahead and build some more of these to make the space usable. So these things are actually super simple. All they are is a wood frame, a center section that is filled with Rockwool, with a very dense special type of Rockwool, and then they're covered with this velvet on the front and just a cheaper type of cloth on the back to keep the Rockwool from flaking out and creating dust all over the space. I've tried a few different acoustic absorbers, but using Rockwool with the wooden frame and cloth covering is by far the most effective and cheapest option you can go for. Wow, it is cold outside. Okay, for materials, I'll be using this Rockwool Tamarack 50. This is the heaviest Rockwool that you can buy, so this will really nicely absorb the low frequencies too. This is 80mm thick stuff, and it's reasonably cheap. It is not the cheapest like insulating material you can get, but it should do perfectly as an absorber. So these are 3 packs. I've already opened up one of them. Then for the frame, I'll be using this 20 by 90 millimeter dimensional lumber. In the US, this would be called 1x4s. This is the nicer stuff. This is planed on 3 sides, and I'm gonna make a frame out of this that's gonna house the Rockwool batting. Because just the naked wood and batting frame is not gonna look particularly nice, you've already seen this velvet covering. This stuff works extremely well. I've also got some regular white universal cloth. And for the backside, I've got this really cheapish plasticky cloth. Now, if I were to use this on the front side, it would actually reflect a lot of the sound back. So I'm just gonna use it for the back so that the batting doesn't flake out. And for the front, this stuff will actually absorb and capture a lot of the sound much better. So this stuff is all in here. I still don't have a proper workbench or anything in here, so I'll have to make do with what I got. But it's been 2 days since I last filmed in here, so I guess we should check out the studio because that is starting to shape up. So yeah, this is basically ready to go. I've got my teleprompter in there, live streaming rig. I still need to wire that up, but lights are in here. The one thing I still don't know what to do is what I'm gonna do with the backdrop, because this right now is still a white wall and that's kind of boring. We've got the safe in the one corner, but you know, we'll see. But for now, let's get to building these acoustic absorbers. The idea was to use the table to align everything, but that's not working out all too great, so I'm gonna add a few markings to make that a bit easier for me. And there we go, there's the first one done. These are actually more than sturdy enough. They're more than square enough, so now all that's left to do is to make 17 more of these. Alright, it is the next day. I did run out of batteries and out of screws yesterday, so I'm gonna continue today. Now, one thing that I noticed, some of them have quite a bit of twist in them. You can see they're flush at the bottom, and then up here, there's quite a bit of a gap that opens up. Now, I don't think that's going to be that much of an issue because these will still be wrapped in fabric, so that's going to hide the gap somewhat. But if it does become an issue, I can always use the warped ones up on the ceiling where you're not going to see the difference in gap all around all that much. And that's all the frames made. In total, I've got 18 of them. That corresponds with the 18 bats of Rockwool that I have. I did make one extra one to sort out this one really warped one. So yeah, I made 19 in total plus the one that's already done. So next up, I need to put some fabric on the back side of these, and then I can start putting the Rockwool in. So that's one down, just 17 more to go. Now, because this fabric is so stretchy, it is very easy to pull it nice and tight over the front, but it also means that the back side here, this edge right there, does like to curl up, so I had to use a ton of staples, but we'll deal with that once it comes to it. But for now, let's just get the rest of these built so that we can start testing how well these work in these rooms. Alright, so I've got 6, 7, 8 of these panels already done. As it turns out, these actually take a lot longer than expected because you have to put in so many staples to keep this fabric stretched. But that's done. Now it's time to move on to making 8, 9 more with this white fabric. And this is the last staple. Yes, we're done. I made a few 3D printed mounts for these. These are the simpler ones for a wall mount. These just go in the upper corners right there and then one at the bottom, and they go on at a bit of an angle so that you can adjust how plumb it actually hangs on the wall. But these are actually a bit more interesting because these are the overhead hooks. Let me just get these in focus real quick here. So one for each corner, and they're gonna go on like, hold on, let me get the right one. They go on like so. And basically they mount to the panel, and then you can slide this thing over a screw that pokes out from the ceiling, and these are just going to hold up the panel without a visible screw. So I can't mount all these panels into the final positions they're gonna go eventually yet, because I first have to outfit the office and the studio so that I know where there's gonna be space for them. But I do want to test them, and I do want to compare them to commercial sound absorbing acoustic panels. These are Basotect panels. I think they're like 50 or 60 millimeters deep with the pyramid shape. These 5 panels you've been seeing in the background of my podcasting setup, and they were in total a bit over $100. So that is quite expensive foam. Now the DIY panels that I made were a bit over half as much each, but they're a bit larger and they are a lot thicker, so they should be much better at absorbing those lower frequencies. So with these you can sometimes end up with a dampened but quite boomy room, while these should make for like an acoustically neutral dampening behavior. I don't know how to explain that. But for now, let's put some of these over in the printer cave and compare what that all sounds like. Okay, test number 1, room is empty. Yeah, that's that. Test number 2 with just the 5 Basotect panels in here. That is a lot better already. Test number 3 with 5 of the DIY panels in here, and I think you can already hear the difference. Wow. Wow. These are actually really good. I think most of the echo right now is coming from outside in the hallway and from bouncing around up here in the room where there's no acoustic treatment yet. Let's pull in some more of these panels. I just want to see how far we can go. Okay, so as you can see, I've gone to the max with acoustic material here. I've also blocked off the doorway with 2 more panels balanced awkwardly on top of each other. But I think you can really hear the difference. Now, the only echo I can hear right now is from the outside bouncing in from the hallway. But this room is just quiet now. It's amazing how well these panels work. Let me give you the actual scientific comparison. So here's what we've got with all the panels in here. Hold on. I think you can still hear some echo bouncing up and down. Let me put a panel on the floor. Yeah, that's better. Okay, so we've almost built an anechoic chamber. This is, I think, a fantastic success. Now, these panels really took a long time to build in their entirety. However, it did go a lot faster once I had like the technique down of how to wrap this fabric around the wooden frame in a nice, neat manner. This stretchy fabric I actually like a lot better the way it looks, but it's a bit harder to work with because it's just so stretchy on the back. I also should have gotten an electric stapler. And looking at the finished product, I think the velvet ones look really nice, but the white ones kind of look like worn out stretched underwear over a wooden frame. I don't really like the way these look. You can still see all the wood grain through them and every single screw that I put in. This isn't a fantastic look. I might still put some more velvet over these. But overall, when it comes to functionality, these are awesome and they were fairly cheap to build. Now you could actually build these with cheaper materials. The Rockwool inserts, the Rockwool batting that I bought was like the heaviest type they had. They had to custom order that. I had to buy 4 packs to even make it happen. In the end, I think you could get a very similar result with run-of-the-mill Rockwool or even glass wool batting at half of the cost for the wool itself. Either way, these are a lot cheaper than commercially available absorbers. Yes, you have to put in a bit of work. Overall, I think it took me 2 days or so to build these. You can customize them any way you want, obviously, with whatever fabric you put on them, and you can build them in whatever size you want. I made sure to only use very simple tools to build these. Basically, if you have any sort of a miter saw or a skill saw or anything like that, and a drill and a cordless screwdriver, and a stapler, which are like 10 bucks, you can build these yourself too. So I'm hoping you all had as great of a start into 2020 as I did. I'm super excited about this new studio space and all the opportunities and possibilities that come along with it when it comes to making more content without being confined to the limited space that I had so far. And when it comes to growing the team, I'll make sure to let you know once I start looking for an intern, part-time employee, something like that. So stay tuned for that. And also, thank you all for watching. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss all the stuff that's coming up in 2020. Yeah, I'm signing off. I'm exhausted. I'm gonna go edit this video now. Thanks. Bye. Wait, which way do I walk off that way?